So these are the topics that we talked about that we're going to cover in the webinar. And here is just a slide to present us as a company. So at Rillion, we are working with, as I said, with the purchase to pay process. And that includes invoice automation, requisitions and purchase orders, contracts, documents, and also the AI features. So these are the things we are using to help our customers to automate the purchase to pay process. I would like to present the customer to us, Technopolis. They are working with our solution, and they have been working with the Rillion Prime for AP automation for some time. And this year they were implementing also the AI and analytics modules within the application. Technopolis is a company that is located in several countries. They are processing 50,000 invoices a year through Rillion Prime, and they have around 200 employees. They have been working with the invoice processing, the contract management, and the document management within Rillion Prime for some time. And this year they started with the analytics and AI feature as well. So Technopolis are using the Rillion Analytics to follow up on the AP process and also to get insights into the spend and cash flow. And when I talked to the customer, they say that there were some things that was really important for them when implementing this analytics product in the AP process. The biggest benefit did come with that the entire organization can see their own figures and invoices. It's not only accessible by the finance department, so that everybody were able to come in and look at the numbers that have access, of course. Another thing that they talked about was the possibility to see the payment situation. And it was an eye-opener for them that they were paying so many invoices early. And that's something that we're going to look into more later on in the webinar. Another thing was also the reports that helped them to point out where they could improve in the process. Things that they maybe did not do in an efficient way in the process, so where they could actually improve and get better automation. And they also said it was interesting to follow the progress, and we're going to look into some of their numbers later on in the webinar. This summer, they also implemented the AI feature within the AP process. So they started this summer, but they could really see the benefits short after, so they could already now see benefits from using AI in the AP process. And what they said here is that the AI has clearly speeded up the work for the finance department, so they can use their time for more value-adding tasks, and that's nice to hear. They see that they can handle the invoice process more efficiently with fewer resources, and that's also very great for us to hear. Another thing that I was very, very happy to hear is that they said that the implementation of the Rillion AI was the easiest implementation ever. So that's good, because you don't want to spend too much time to implement solutions, of course. And what was very important for them was the simplicity in how it was working, and also that the AI in Rillion was embedded into the application and did not come with any extra integrations to external sources. So these were things that they said about the AI analytics part. But let's go in and see more what this is. And I will start with the Rillion Analytics. What is that, and how could you work with it? So in the Rillion Analytics, what we have done is to look into the AP process and the data that is around the AP process to see what type of reports that we could make available for our customers. And we have divided into 3 different type of reports. AP reports, that's more for the take this actually, that's more for the AP department to have as starting reports to start a day, to get control over today's work. We also have performance tracking reports. That is more to look into how you are working within the process with invoices, for example. So where could we improve and to be able to follow that. We also have business reports, more financial report like cash reports and spend reports and so on. And we will look at some of those soon. So, but if we then go back one step and look into this with analytics, what is that? Well, you often hear it like business intelligence. And what you do here is that we have systems like Power BI or other BI tools where you can create reports, dashboards, and KPI that is fully integrated to your business systems, and that enables close to real-time data and analysis. And most business processes that you do have are digital, and that makes that the data is easy accessible for us to use in those kind of tools. And I mean, most of this data you can take out already today from the ERP system or whatever you have it, but then you maybe need to go in and run different type of reports and consolidate those and take to Excel and so on. And when you have a BI tool in place, there's no need to run a report. We are collecting the data from different areas and present it as already KPIs and dashboards. If we look at the benefits and challenges of using BI reports, I think the benefits are quite clear. I mean, to have real-time data available for a large audience, I think that in itself, it's really like a big benefit. Ready KPIs, simple filters, they are really built for that purpose, to have those possibilities to filter and drill into the data. The possibility to see the high level and also drill into the details to find that needle in the haystack. So the benefits are many. And the challenges are often related to maintaining those kind of reports, maintaining the master data, integrations to the different systems, and of course the reports themselves, what kind of reports we need and how to build them up. And for this, you need to have in-house knowledge in BI tools, and quite deep, actually. So that is often where you have the challenges, that you don't have anybody that knows how to do this. So what we did was to create this within our application. So based on the AP process, we created an analytics tool with those kind of business intelligence reports and analytics reports. So we have created ready-made reports that is built into the application. And as soon as we are releasing new features and new reports, we just push this out to all customers that is using the Rillion Analytics. We have 2 packages today. One starter that is more like AP reports and performance tracking reports for the AP department. And then we have the professional package that is more like the business reports and so on, but we will look more into those soon. In total, we have 14 reports available today in our analytics tool. And all of them aim to look into the AP process and the spend process. So here you have a list of all the reports, but we will see some of them more live. We will start just to look into one of the reports that we created, the dashboard. What we have done here is to gather the most important KPIs that you might have in the company. How are we doing, so to say? Is the AP process automated enough? How long does it take to get an invoice through the system? And all of those kind of KPIs is gathered in here. And this is a great report for CFOs and CEOs, controllers, and others to get a quick overview of the AP process. So this is a start report for many customers to have first. But then you can go into other type of reports to drill into more specific areas. And let's start with one. Let's look into this with inflation. I mean, historically, we have a high inflation at the moment. Everybody knows that, with rising interest rates and increasing debt and all of this. And here, AP needs to support the organization to have extra focus on the spending and work in close collaboration with finance, procurement, and also the suppliers. So what we did here was to create some reports, as for example, the spend report. So this is an example how ECU, as a controller or CFO or manager, could have clear visibility in your spend. And this is not only for the invoice that you already have in the ERP system. This is for all invoices, also the ones that is still active in workflow somewhere to be approved. And they will bring this bringing opportunity to easily identify potentials, for example, reduce costs and frauds and double spending. And if we drill into the report a little bit more, you could see the data company by company and also currency by currency, if you would like to drill into that to see how much we have in different currencies. You can see the data per vendor and also per, like, if you're working with cost centers and projects, to see the spendings on those dimensions. You can also see the spend month by month, and then you can see how many invoices we have received and also the cost. And in all the reports, you have the possibility to drill down to the details and all the way down to the invoices behind the numbers. And you can actually click on the link to get into Rillium Prime and see your invoice within the application, to see all the historical information about that invoice. So that's one thing that we would like to highlight. Another thing very related to that is the supplier chain. I mean, many businesses have experienced supplier chain disruptions since the pandemic. And suppliers today have the power to choose whom they would like to do business with. So maintaining a good relationship with them is crucial. And also here, AP plays an important role in this, to maintaining a strong supplier relationship, including having control over the master data and also driving high automation to get a good process for the invoices per supplier. We created one report that we call vendor card. And in this view, you can get easy access to your vendor master data to find potential vendors that you could automate more, and also check geographically where you have your vendors. Let's look deeper into this report. So all invoices are shown. You can see it company by company and currency by currency, how many have been paid, are cancelled, or are recorded. And you can also see type of invoice, if you have received them as scanned invoices directly in the application or as electronic invoices. We can also follow the automation level on a vendor level to see how many of the vendors that are automatically going through the system. If we have successful coding, successful flow, how many invoice goes directly to recording. And once again, if you drill into this, you can see it per vendor, but here it's on all the vendors. And this will allow you to identify actions that you can use to optimize the process and understand where you have your bottlenecks. And then we have the map, so you can clearly view where your suppliers are in the world. I mean, this could be very crucial when things happen in the world. It's a lot of disturbance in the world at the moment, and it could be good to see where we have our suppliers. Another thing I would like to just bring up in this webinar is this: supplier wants to get paid faster. Yeah, With rising interest rates across the globe, suppliers are looking to get paid faster. That's quite easy to understand. And it might be that they actually are offering payment discounts, and that could also benefit you as a buyer, of course. So what we did here was to create reports to be able to analyze that. So the vendor payment analyzer, how many invoices were paid on time, early or late. That's the basic what this will show. And once again, you can drill into it. You can see it based on payment terms. What kind of payment terms do we have on the vendors? We can also see overall for the selected time period, how many invoices were paid on time, early or late. And you can also see it more month by month, how we are paying. And you can see the average, and you can see how many you have as late payments, but also how many was actually early payments. I mean, early payments are maybe not so good for your cash flow, to be honest. And this was one of the things that Technopolis customer pointed out, that they were paying a lot of invoices earlier than they had to, and they worked with that. So those reports were more like following up on an invoice level. Let's have a quick look at some of the performance tracking reports. So the invoice log tracking is a report that will help you to see what tasks that is done by AP in the invoice process. How often do we need to manually select a vendor for an invoice? How often are we changing some header information? To get that information visible, you can work with it and see what can we do here? How could we get more invoices to find the correct supplier directly? And the same we have for invoices that have been sent out to Flow. So what are the end users doing with the invoices when AP has sent them further on to the next level? So why does this specific user so often change the GL account on an invoice, for example? Could we do something to help them so they don't have to do this manual task every time they get an invoice or the flow? To have that visible on the role level, on the user level, would give you valuable insight so you can improve the process. We also present here the top 10 roles and the bottlenecks as well, so you can see where we could improve and do give them a helping hand, so to say. So this is the analytics tool. And if you find here things that you would like to improve, for example, you do a lot of manual coding, then you could implement also the AI application. So this brings me into Rillion AI and how that can help you to automate the invoice process. And the AI together with the analytics, then you have a full picture, because then you can also measure the improvements that you do in the process. So let's see, AI is not longer the future. We know that. Everybody talking about AI everywhere. It's here, it's now. It's used everywhere and also in the financial processes. It can be used for many different things. It's often used in data management and analytics to manage large amount of financial data and bring conclusions based on that. It's also very often used in risk management to identify and manage financial risks, and that's really crucial for a business. But today we're going to focus on the last thing here, and that is automation of routine tasks. I mean, AP staff and financial people are spending a lot of time on those routine tasks, such as bookkeeping, invoicing, reporting, and it's very time consuming. And it would be good to have that time for more value added things instead. And before we go into the Rillion analytics, I just want to give you some insights. Like, what is AI and machine learning? How does it work? Because AI is a little bit like abstract. So what we do, no matter what kind of AI we are using, you gather a lot of sample data. It can be anything. It could be 10,000 pictures of cats, for example. You take that as sample data, and you take like 80% of that data as training data. And then you let the AI engine create a model and learn from this information, like the pictures of cats. It finds patterns and behaviors and look at historical things that has come in that you have said is a cat, for example. And then you send another 20% of the sample data into the AI model as test data. And then you get the result, and then we'll look at the result to see how good it was and see, do we need to do more training on this? Do we need more cats in the model, or are we done? And if it seems good, then the model is done, and then we can put it in production. And it's exactly the same for invoices, to be honest. It's not cats, but it's invoices. So in the AP process, what we can do is to help out with those manual tasks. And you should see the AI as a support. It is not a replacement. It will not replace you. You will still be in charge. But let the technology do the heavy work, those really boring, like the things you do just by routine or something. This will help you to increase the automation, and so that you can focus on managing the variances instead and just look at those, and to save time for other more value-adding tasks. So the AI tool that we have, and there are other tools as well, of course, will gradually build a model based on your invoices and your behaviors, what you do in the system. And the system will learn to code invoices correctly and automatically, and it will be better and better over time. And you will still be in control, and you will decide when and how AI should be a helping hand. And if we look more into it, how it works within Rillion Prime, when you have an invoice coming into the invoice log, the AP view, it goes via the matching engine. If we see that this invoice is a PO invoice or contract invoice, it will be matched to that and sent in that type of flow. But if it's a cost invoice, it will go via the AI engine to get a proposal. And that proposal we will show you in the AP view. It will be based on the historical data, on the information that we find on the invoice image, on the information that we have interpreted from the image, the coding from historical invoices and historical approval flows. And the invoice will get the suggestion, and you could say if it's okay or not. And if you do any changes to the coding, we will report that back to the engine again, and it will keep learning and get better and better. And this is how it could look like. So if we look at an invoice within Rillion Prime, this is what you could see. This is the AP view, where we have all the captured values from the invoice, and we also see the account coding. And as you can see on the account coding in the bottom, we have the GL account, cost center and projects, and you have color codings. And the color codings will indicate for you how sure we are on this value. Green means that, yeah, this should be the correct one. And if it's yellow or red, it's more like unsecure, and maybe you need to look into those. So this is what you can get help with when you implement the AI application within Rillion Prime. Let's go back to Technopolis again. So as I said, they are in many of the Nordic countries, but also in some countries in Europe. And they handle 50,000 invoices a year. And they have now used the AI since summer and analytics since the beginning of the year, I think it was. And this is some information now when we looked into it after some time. So the analytics did put the spotlight on where they did spend time in the process. And when they were able to see that in an easy way, they were also able to do some small changes within the application to improve the process and to automate things that was not automated before. As an example, they were measuring what we call happy flows, meaning that the flow that is created by the application was fully correct. And then they can see that they had some suppliers with no happy flows, and then they could improve that to get more happy flows and less hands-on for AP and the end users. After implementing the AI, they could also see that they really did get help with the coding in the system. And they could follow these improvements over time. And here are some statistics from their system. We could, for example, see here that they were going from an average processing day per invoice from 17 days down to 4 days, just by improving small things in the application when they were that they could find in the analytics reports. We can also see that they have improved the number of invoices going directly to recording, not with that much, because here's more like PO matching and contract matching, but they were able to find more invoices that could match to contracts, for example. Here's another great view from their analytics reports, and that is those with the happy flows and happy codings, meaning that we do get successful flows directly from the system that nobody has to change. And the coding is from the AI, and the flows is more that they were able to do some changes in the application to get more and better flows. So we can really see that it raises and gets better and better over time, and that's really nice to see. So that was all I had to talk about today. So in this webinar, we have looked into how analytic reports can help you to put spotlight on improvements in your process. We also looked into some ready KPIs and reports that can give you insight into your spend and cash flow. And last but not least, how AI could be a helping hand in the AP process to free up time for more value-adding tasks. And this was what I had to present today. If you would like to know more about our application or about Rillion, you can visit our website or email sales@rillion.com, and we will contact you.